where did all subcultures go? I think if I were a furry, my fursona would be maybe a dragon. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we become really lonely and the self becomes really fragmented. Being furry, and also if we put that in the context of human civilization, the core nature of our existence, it's our authenticity. It's something that we have lost in our civilized world. I think you are going to like it. Hey, in this video we are going to explore furry community. What does it mean being a furry? Is it weird? Is it healthy? And how I met them and why I think they are important. And what would Carl Jung say about it? I'm curious. Let's go. I first encountered furry when I saw a few videos on YouTube where people were, I think, making fun of them, and they were also describing them as a new phenomenon where kids, teenagers, and adults would dress up like animals. And I was wondering, oh, that's so interesting. I haven't seen a new subculture emerging. I was also wondering, where did all subcultures go? Why I don't see that many of them? Why I don't see new subcultures emerging? So when I encountered furry community, I felt very curious. I felt like, oh, wait a minute, that's something new. And I also immediately noticed a lot of hate about it. A lot of people kind of getting really angry about furry who are just having fun, who are just out there playing in those cool suits and pretending like they are animals, or mimicking animals, or just enjoying this interesting identity that is not really human identity but more animal-like. And I think there is also a link to our collective unconscious, where something that is hidden, something that we don't see as collective, like is resurfacing in multiple locations in the world. And this phenomena is pretty common in many different cultures. And I think one good example is like someone who studied different cultural phenomena is Carl Jung. Is there actually a link between being furry and also, if we put that in the context of human civilization, was there something interesting before that in our history? Yeah, I was just watching a video about a guy who has an AI girlfriend, and I found that really fascinating video. I haven't finished that yet. There is one very important archetype, and this is animal archetype in our human psyche. And this animal archetype represents the core nature of our existence. It's literally nature speaking through us. It's our instinct. It's our authenticity. It's something that we have lost in our civilized world. And there's also that's called fursona. As far as I understand, it's when someone is choosing a particular animal as in a way like a self-representation figure. From the theories based on Carl Jung, he said that these archetypes, these inner archetypes, are extremely important, and they are like a bridge between unconscious and ego, and integrating them can mean integrating many different qualities that we need and want in our lives. For example, if someone's fursona is a fox, it can represent a bit of playfulness. If someone's fursona is a dragon, it can represent wisdom, inner strength, and there are so many different fursonas. Another aspect is many of us feel like we wear a specific persona in our daily lives, and this persona is kind of restricted, right? It's restricted by the social expectations and norms, by different rules. This persona is also in a way kind of controlled. And so this everyday persona, it becomes very tiring and becomes also very controlled space with a very little movement for playfulness. And that's exactly what furry community is about. It's about integrating a different type of persona, more alternative persona, that allows you to be more playful, to discover different sides of you, that is less connected to social expectations and boundaries. So it becomes more like it is a counterbalance in a way. And by the way, if you want to start reading Carl Jung, I definitely recommend you start reading with this book, and that's his autobiography. And why it's important to start with this book, in my opinion, is that it was written at the end of his life, when he was around 80 years old. He started writing it, he started working on it, and it's like a reflection, overall reflection on his entire life, where he had the chance to like link all the things that he worked on, and you kind of see his life and his work in perspective. I think once you kind of have that vision, that understanding, then you can go deeper into specific aspects that you really like, not necessarily in a chronological order. And for example, he worked on a theme of alchemy and psychology, and he worked a bit later in life on this theme. So I'm interested in it, and I think that would be the next book I will be choosing. But for you, it might be somewhere else, maybe something that he worked on a bit earlier in life, like the shadow concept, or anima, or the animus, or maybe his collaboration with Freud. So we definitely recommend check this book. It's really interesting. The way I read it, when I discover something that I really like, I try to research more of it. For example, I research more about Egyptian mythology, about alchemy, while I read this book. So this is extremely useful, and I think you are going to like it. Also, I wanted to show you a drawing that I did, a drawing of Furry. I did this drawing this summer, and I didn't really copy this image from anywhere. I was just drawing it from my own imagination. That was also a time when I was drawing a lot of my dreams. So let me have a look. Oh yeah, that's not really a furry, but maybe it's this one. As you can see, there is a dragon-like image. Yeah, it probably came to me from collective unconscious. Another aspect from the theories of Carl Jung is repressed shadow. So this archetype of an animal could mean that it's a part of the shadow. The shadow means is that some of the qualities that we repress or disown. Animal identities can symbolize, for example, vulnerability, sensuality, desire, aggression. Those are the qualities that we often repress, and this furry community allows a safe space for exploration of those qualities, of those different feelings and thoughts that are important, but they are often hidden in our unconscious. Carl Jung believed that the true meaning of life is to integrate different archetypes into the self and become, so this process is called individuation. And many furries describe themselves as being really playful character, being really integrated character. And many furries say that this archetype of an animal helps them to live more true and more fulfilling life, to be who they really are on the inside. And I think that's really close to Jung's theories. He said that it was important to communicate with your unconscious through different symbols and through different images, and to integrate those images and symbols into your life using rituals, using storytelling. And that's exactly what furry community does, creating all those different characters and wearing different suits, coming together, playing different roles. Those are extremely important to have a dialogue with your unconscious and to become more integrated self. And it's also part of like modern myth making. Carl Jung believed that we as humans, we need to create shared space, we need connection, we need tribes, we need rituals, and that furry community can provide a space for belonging, a space for coming together, a space for exploration. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we become really lonely and the self becomes really fragmented. Also, Jung believed that creativity is extremely important. It's like a dialogue, a bridge between unconscious and what we do in real lives, in our conscious. And being playful, being creative it's so youthful, it's so healthy, and this furry community is also extremely creative. Look at the costumes, look at the different characters, look at different art that they make. I finally found it. I don't know who is this person or character. It can be maybe a fox, or I don't know who this is. Is this a fox or someone else? But I was drawing it from my fantasy. I wasn't really making a copy of an illustration that I saw. So I'm curious, what do you think? Also, I want to add that I was curious to chat with people from furry community, just to get to know them, and I was honest with them that I'm not furry myself, but I like furry. I'm in general interested in discovering different subcultures and different alternative communities, and they were really friendly with me. They were really also curious about me, and they welcomed me in their community, in their space. I'm now a part of different groups, like furry groups online, and I really enjoy when people self-explore, when they're playful, and they're also very creative, and they're very inspiring to me. Just to give you a short summary, I think what Carl Jung would say about the space, it's where we are creative with the symbols to explore ourselves and who we are. And that's exactly what this community provides. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm curious if you maybe know someone who is from furry community. Maybe you are a part of this community yourself. Let me know, what is your experience? Did you meet interesting people? What is your fursona? I think if I were a furry, my fursona would be maybe a dragon. I'm really interested in dragons. I became really interested in dragons and in general in different symbolism. When I started reading Carl Jung, I think it gave me a lot of meaning. I also became more aware of the symbols around me in my daily life. If you are also a new YouTuber, could you please let me know how you do it? I really need some help.